Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. The topic this time is Legal Search Leads, Making Google AdWords Work for Your Firm. This webinar is hosted by the ABA Legal Technology Resource Center. Speaking today will be Eric Reinhard from FindLaw and Eli Romberg from Google. The Legal Technology Resource Center is an ABA member benefit provided by the ABA Law Practice Division. The LTRC has been providing lawyers with legal technology guidance for more than 25 years. You can find a variety of legal technology articles, guides, videos, and other resources on our website at www.lawtechnology.org or at our blog, www.lawtechnologytoday.org. Our first speaker today is Eric Reinhard, the lead product manager for FindLaw's online advertising and directory solutions. He oversees the company's methods that connect lawyers with consumers, including the FindLaw side of today's topic, paid search advertising through Google AdWords. Before moving into the world of online marketing, he received his JD from the Santa Clara University School of Law. Our second speaker is Eli Romberg. Eli is a strategic partner manager on Google's legal channel sales team for North America. In that role, he is responsible for providing law firms with scalable business solutions to help them maximize their online advertising ROI. He has extensive experience in online advertising and possesses a passion for internet technologies and digital solutions.
Thank you, Rose. And let me say on behalf of FindLaw and Thomson Reuters, we are really happy to be here today. FindLaw's mission is to help consumers understand their legal issues and connect those consumers with lawyers who can help them solve their legal problems. Using our leading set of legal marketing solutions, we work directly with law firms to help them grow their book of business. If you're interested, you can find out more about the services FindLaw offers and our subject matter expertise at lawyermarketing.com. We wanted to start today's presentation by sharing with you a data point around consumer behavior. That data point is this. Over 90% of multiple device owners switch between screens to complete tasks. This is important because no longer is there just one single point of contact that consumers use when deciding to connect with a lawyer. That traditional conversion funnel has changed. That point of contact can now be a desktop computer, a laptop, a tablet, a mobile device, or a television screen, often all of the above. That proliferation of devices and related connection points mean we need to get smarter about how we market. And it leads to the question of what tools are available to help us make connections in an environment where the consumer is always on. How do you capture the consumer's attention? How do you stand out from your competitors? Well, one great tool in addition to your website, your directory listings, and your SEO activities is paid search advertising, and specifically Google AdWords. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Now, as with many online marketing tools, you have a choice. You can spend the time and energy to become a subject matter expert yourself, or you can retain a vendor to manage the activity for you and spend your time working more with clients directly. If you choose a vendor to manage your paid search advertising, we always encourage the law firms we work with to look for this, the Google AdWords Certified Partner Badge. Google AdWords Certified Partners are online marketing professionals who have been certified by Google to manage AdWords accounts. To become certified, they must demonstrate an in-depth understanding of AdWords and paid search by passing exams, and they must meet additional strict qualification guidelines. FindLaw is very proud to be a Google AdWords certified partner, and you can be confident that an individually qualified AdWords specialist is managing your campaign. Now I'm going to turn it over to Eli for a deeper dive into the mechanics of paid search and Google AdWords.
Thank you, Eric. My goal for today's program is to provide you with education on why paid search is so important, how your firm can extend its reach beyond search, how to adapt to the mobile world, and finally, I will review steps on how you can get started and be successful. We will leave some time at the end to cover off on some questions. Before we jump fully into the presentation, I wanted to kick things off with this one metric. In a recent study conducted by Google in collaboration with Compete and Sofo, people were asked which sources they used while researching information pertaining to legal services. According to the survey, 92% of consumers use a search engine at the onset and throughout their research. Furthermore, the research also revealed that search engines are useful for over 1 in 5 for promoting purchase decisions. I want you to keep this in mind throughout the presentation as I talk about the value and importance of paid search advertising. So while most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with the layout of the Google search result page, I want to spend a quick minute reviewing the various page elements that are served up once a user goes to google.com and conducts a search. Understanding the anatomy of search is helpful to not only distinguish between what is considered organic results and paid results, but also to understand how they interact with each other on the page. The first step in a search starts when a user goes to google.com and types in a string of keywords that reflect what the user is interested in finding more information about. This is what we call a search query, and you can see it highlighted in green on the slide. And in our example, the user is searching for information on DUI attorneys in Los Angeles. Now, as the user is typing in their query, Google on the back end is doing two things. For one, Google examines the query and starts crawling through its massive index of billions of websites and web pages and tries to find content that is relevant to the search query. Once it finds what it determines to be the most relevant content, it will display links to this content in the center of the search result page, demonstrated in this slide in the selection that is highlighted in blue. These results are referred to as organic results because they appear strictly due to their relevance to the search terms as opposed to them being paid advertisements. And this brings me to the second process that takes place upon conducting a search. For each query, again, Google examines the keywords entered by the user and references its large bank of advertisers that wish to have their ads displayed when those keywords are used in a search. An auction then takes place, and the winning ads then get served at the top and the right-hand side of the search result page, what is highlighted in this screenshot in orange. From this basic example, you could start to see the prominent role paid search plays in the search result page and how a business, or as a business, you can increase your exposure and get in front of additional potential customers by leveraging paid search. So I started to talk a little bit about the auction that takes place when a search query is conducted and how based on that auction, Google populates the search result page with relevant ad units. But I wanted to expand a little bit more on this process and talk about the dynamic nature of the auction, and more specifically, what determines the order or the ranking of the ads that are chosen to serve. And so the order in which the paid results are generated is determined by a factor called ad rank. Ad rank is the formula Google created to allow advertisers to bid on queries, but keeping a component of relevancy so that users are served with useful ads alongside the organic content. Now, there are two key components to ad rank: quality score and maximum cost per click. Max cost per click, or max CPC, is the maximum amount an advertiser is willing to pay for a click on their ad. The other factor which plays a critical role in determining ad rank, quality score, is a bit more complex, and I'll elaborate more on this. Quality score is a measurement of how relevant your ads, keywords, and landing pages are to a person seeing your ad. There are three main factors that contribute to quality score. The first and foremost, most prominent component of quality score is click-through rate. Click-through rate is a metric that represents how many times your ads were clicked on by users out of all the times your ads were served. The reason why we look at this metric and why we value it so much is it essentially represents the user's vote on how relevant and useful your ads are. By clicking on your ads, users are letting us know that your ads are in fact relevant and useful. The second factor that contributes to quality score is relevancy. Here, we're evaluating whether the ad is relevant to the user's search query. For example, if a user's search query is hot cup of Java, the user is not interested in receiving ads regarding JavaScript, the computer programming language. Rather, they are interested in Java, the caffeinated beverage. The third key component of quality score is landing page. Here we evaluate the quality of your landing page. How long does it take for the content on your landing page to load? And how relevant is that content to your keywords and your ad copy? We also examine whether there are any pop-up ads on your site or any other factors that would negatively impact the user's experience. And so all three of these components ultimately contribute to the quality score you are assigned, which in return then impacts your ad's overall ad rank. One key thing to note here is that Google rewards quality ads, or rather ads with a high quality score. And in fact, higher quality scores can lead to not only better ad positions, but also to cheaper cost per clicks as well. So we talked about what paid search is and the mechanics of how they work. Now, let's spend a few minutes to discuss why paid search is so important. On this slide, I've listed a handful of key benefits that paid search has to offer. Now, I'll discuss each of these in a little bit more detail. So the first point we're going to touch on is that your customers expect to find you when they go online and do a search. Users expect to find information on businesses online, regardless if they are a large Fortune 500 company or a small moms and pop shop. Google conducted this really interesting survey which examined how users' eyes scan the search result page. As demonstrated on the heat map on the left-hand side, you can see that at first, users' eyes are drawn to the top 3 ad positions, often captured by the big players in the space. But after a few seconds, the user's eyes then start to scan the rest of the page, including the ads on the right-hand side as well. And this is important to realize, that even as a smaller business, when you don't have large budgets and can't afford to bid aggressively for the top 3 positions, you still have a great opportunity of getting in front of potential customers by having your ads show in positions 4 to 8 on the right-hand side. The next benefit of paid search is that it allows the advertiser to control the message. What I mean by this is that while the SEO and the organic results, you have no choice but to rely on what the search engine generates, with paid search you have the ability to tailor your ad and are able to use specific language that is consistent with your other marketing materials. You are also able to choose your call to actions, and you can leverage a handful of powerful ad extensions to help encourage users to learn more about your law firm. In the example on this slide, a user is searching for a personal injury attorney in Arizona. On the top paid search spot is an ad promoting Suzuki's law office. The ad is tailored specifically to clearly state that the firm specializes in personal injury law. But you'll also notice that the firm is leveraging an ad enhancement called site links, which gives the users additional options and welcomes them to learn more about the services offered by the firm. Regardless of where a user is in the buying cycle, the firm is offering them relevant content and relevant information. This method helps improve ad performance as well as increase the firm's ROI. Next, with paid search, you have the ability to set up designated ads for all the different areas of law your firm practices. However, it's highly important that those ads link to the most relevant pages on your website. Once you manage to capture the attention of the user searching for a service your firm provides, you want to make it easy for them to find the information they're looking for and help convert them into paying customers. In my opinion, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is invest all the time and money to capture the user's attention through your ad, just to then direct them to a general page on your website, or one that is not highly relevant to their search. A user that does not find the information they were hoping to find immediately upon clicking on your ad will likely just hit the back button and resume their search, costing you, the advertiser, the business, a wasted click. In the example on this slide, a user is looking for a dog bite attorney in Boston. Icahn & Icahn's firm has a relevant ad and compelling ad that captures the user's attention, and it directs them, the users, to a page that specifically addresses dog bite cases. They're making it incredibly easy on the user. The next idea I want to share with you is the idea that paid search offers the ability to own more of the search results page real estate. On a search result page generated on a desktop or laptop computer, you'll typically find up to 11 ad units served alongside the organic results. What this essentially means for an advertiser is that their ad unit has to stand out amongst not only 10 other competing ads, but also all the organic results in order to capture the attention of the user and hopefully generate that desired click. It is easy to value then the importance of having your ad take up additional space on the result page and have additional attributes to your ad that further draw the user's attention to your ad. To this end, advertisers are encouraged to take advantage of a set of ad extensions that help them enhance the ad unit, offering the user more relevant information while also expanding the physical size of the ad unit. In this example, Suzuki Law Offices is using location extensions that add value both in terms of providing additional relevant information the user might be looking for, the directions to the law office, but it also helps in capturing more of the available space on the search result page, increasing the likelihood that users will see and interact with the ad versus those of the competition. And lastly, paid search drives incremental traffic to your website. In a 2011 study conducted by Google, we examined how the number of organic clicks changes when paid search ads are present and when paid search ads are turned off. An analysis of several hundred of these studies revealed that over 89% of the ad clicks are incremental, in the sense that the visits to the advertiser's site would not have occurred without the paid search campaign. Another way to look at this is nearly 9 out of every 10 clicks would not have happened without a paid search ad. And so we started off today's presentation learning that 90% of individuals use a search engine throughout their research process for a legal service provider. And we proceeded to talk about paid search, how it works, and why incorporating it into your larger digital advertising strategy is so important. But before we move on, I wanted to leave you with one final slide that hopefully helps drive all these ideas home. According to a recent report published by Hitwise, 37% of the total web traffic in the legal category is being driven by paid search. What this means is that a substantial portion of online activity of those that are in market for a law firm are relying on paid search ads to find what they're looking for. Another way to look at this is, if you want your law firm to continue to be relevant and continue to be found by interested users, you want to make sure to consider paid search. Otherwise, and the data is showing us this, your competition is there, and it'll be them and not you winning the customers and capturing the business. So while paid search has always been at the core of digital advertising, there are additional and equally important avenues by which advertisers can reach their customers online. I'm not going to elaborate too much on these in today's session, but I did want to briefly introduce you to two such opportunities: display advertising via the Google Display Network and mobile advertising. Let's start off with display advertising. But to understand why it's even important to consider display advertising, it's important to first examine online user activity. If you think about it, we constantly hear about how important search is, how great search is, and how you're missing out if you're not doing anything on search. We just spent 15 minutes talking about the value of search. But while that's all very true, user search activity is only a sliver of their greater online activity. In fact, research has shown that only 5% of users' online activity is search, with the vast majority of the time being spent online, in fact being dedicated towards doing a whole slew of other activities, including checking the mail, checking the news, social activity on the various social networks, and so on and so forth. To this end, if a business is focused only on search advertising, well, they're limiting their reach and exposure during all those times the users are performing other activities online. And that is where the Google Display Network steps in. Via its extensive reach across millions of websites, advertisers are able to continue to get their message placed in front of relevant and engaged customers, even when those are not actively searching for them. And what I mean by this is that the Google Display Network allows you to create all types of ads text ads, image ads, video ads, and even interactive ads, and place these ads on a variety of websites across the internet where you can reach more potential customers. The Google Display Network allows you to serve your ads on specific relevant websites or target people that are likely to be most interested based on their interests, demographics, and more. So in the example on this slide, you can see 3 different ad formats used by Jones Law Firm. You have a couple of image ads in addition to the text format that we are used to seeing on the search result page. These ads can be placed on relevant legal-related websites or perhaps target users with specific interests who fall within a certain demographic. And while there are other display networks out there, the Google Display Network is the largest of them all, reaching more than 93% of all internet users across millions of sites, formats, and devices. And you can see on this slide just a handful of examples of the sites that advertisers can choose to serve their ads on. Everything from premium publisher sites, such as the New York Times and CNN.com, to Google's owned and operated properties, such as YouTube, Gmail, and others. So the Google Display Network offers a whole slew of targeting options, but given the limited time we have today, I'm going to walk you through the most basic of them all, contextual targeting. Using the same technology to determine a site's relevancy to keywords in natural search, our engine matches AdWords ads to relevant content on a site, delivering an extremely targeted message and positive experience. The way it works is as follows. Google scans millions of web pages and determines and classifies the content on that page. In this example, Google identifies that this page is providing information around legal topics and questions. Once this is determined, Google is then able to serve up highly relevant ads, all in real time. Back to our example, we can see that the page is displaying ads for Beverly Law, a car accident law firm. So again, this is just a single example of the power of the Google Display Network. So I just described contextual targeting. However, as mentioned, there are additional ways you can target consumers across the Google Display Network. And these targeting options are split into 2. One is target users where they are, based on where they're searching or what their online activity, what sites they're visiting. You could target them via contextual targeting, where you can choose various keywords or categories of different websites where you want your ads to serve against, as well as placement targeting, where you can explicitly tell the system where you want your ads to be placed, on which sites or which pages, what categories of subsections of various websites. The other option is to target users by who they are. And here we also have a variety of different targeting methods. We could target users based on their interest. Do we want to have our message, our ad, served only on websites or only to individuals who are interested in sports or in politics? Or demographics. Maybe we want to have a different message to women or men or different age groups, as well as remarketing. Remarketing is an extremely effective marketing tool where your ad will only serve to users who have already visited your website. So if you had a user that came to your website and saw your firm but didn't convert, didn't pick up the phone and call your business, you can continue to serve your ad and get your ad in front of them even when they're no longer on your website while they're conducting the search. The next opportunity that I wanted to tease you with is the mobile opportunity. As Eric mentioned earlier, not only are people spending more time online, but their time spent online is on more devices than ever. And this device proliferation is being driven by tremendous adoption of smartphones and tablets. In fact, the adoption rates of connected devices are unprecedented. Mobile devices are one of the fastest growing technologies of all time. What's even more amazing is how quickly these devices become essential to our lives. If we look at how long it took other types of media to reach just 50 million users, we can see that the pace is only accelerating. It took radio 38 years to hit a massive 50 million users. It took television 13 years. Internet adoption hit 50 million users in just 4 years, while the iPhone hit that target in 3 years and the tablets less than 2 years, the fastest growing consumer device in history. And a great example that demonstrates the shift in user behavior is search query volume. Just in the past year alone, we've seen search queries generated from mobile devices grow at a rate of 5x. This phenomenal growth reflects not only how many smartphones are in the market right now, but also how people are using their phones. And not only are people leveraging their mobile devices to do their research, but after looking up local information on their smartphones, 77% of users actually proceed to contact a business via a visit to the storefront or via a phone call. And 88% of those individuals who contacted the business did so the same very day, clearly illustrating how mobile is a critical tool for driving customers to your law firms. And I want to call out your attention to a special mobile ad format that you can see on this example here, called click-to-call. With click-to-call, advertisers are able to make it even easier for their potential customers to connect with them and increase the likelihood of conversion. With click-to-call, the user is able to click on the call button, which is embedded right there in the ad unit, to automatically trigger the phone's dialer, ultimately shortening the path for the user to call the advertiser's business. And from a business standpoint, this is why it's so important to consider implementing a mobile strategy. As more and more users refer to their mobile devices to conduct their online research, if your business doesn't have a mobile presence, your potential customers will likely end up finding another law firm that does. The last strategy that I want to share with you today is around creating mobile optimized, or rather mobile friendly websites. So for the past few minutes, we discussed the explosion of the mobile adoption and the spike in mobile search queries. Yet despite the surge in mobile activity, most businesses still don't have a mobile optimized website. And why is having a mobile optimized website so important? Well, because the user experience of viewing a non-optimized website on a mobile device is typically a very poor one. Not only are these sites unattractive, but they tend to be extremely difficult to navigate, requiring consistent or constant pinch zoom activity, as oftentimes significant pieces of the site may not even load at all. Due to these reasons, majority of users state that they won't even recommend a business with a poorly designed mobile website. And equally alarming is the fact that 40% of users have turned to a competitor site after a bad mobile experience. As a business owner, you want to prevent this from happening and ensure you provide the expected experience to your mobile users. In the final section of this webcast, I wanted to share with you some thoughts on how you and your firm should approach the paid search opportunity. More specifically, I wanted to raise some guiding questions that you should be asking yourselves when considering including paid search into your greater marketing mix. The first step is recognizing the potential and asking yourself how paid search can help your firm. One of the benefits of paid search is they're able to quickly launch a campaign and have that campaign run for a very limited period of time. So perhaps your firm is interested in targeting an event for a limited time. Maybe there is a local train wreck or a gas pipe explosion. You want to be able to get your message out to a relevant audience that could be very time sensitive. Perhaps your firm is looking to break into or test a new practice area, and you could leverage paid search to promote this new service. Or maybe you want to target clients for a new office location. The next step that you want to take is choose your success factors. Determine how will you measure success. Are you going to measure success by how much incremental traffic paid search drives to your website? Or maybe leads from your website is what you are more interested in which case you'll want to measure cost per lead and compare that to those costs of your other marketing efforts. Or maybe you're just going to look at cases acquired via the paid search efforts and calculate return on ad spend in that manner. No matter how you choose to measure success, it's important to determine this on the onset of your investment so that you're then able to determine the effectiveness and profitability of your efforts. The third step is to determine your resources. What can you allocate to your paid search program? And we look at this in a variety of different ways. In terms of time, how much time are you able to devote to planning, creating, tracking, optimizing your campaigns? In terms of budget, how much budget are you able to allocate towards paid search? And in terms of staffing, are you able or interested in having someone in-house manage your paid search efforts? Or perhaps you would rather hire an external party to manage it on your behalf. By asking yourself all these questions in advance, you will eliminate any surprises down the road and hopefully ensure your firm is well positioned to succeed on the paid search front. Now, in the previous slide when I talked about determining your firm's resources, I touched on the question of staffing, whether you want to run your paid search efforts in-house or outsource it to a third party. And I wanted to take an extra couple of minutes to expand on these options and review some of the key pros and cons for each option. So the first option is keeping it in-house and running your firm's paid search efforts on your own. The advantages of this option is that you're not paying any additional fees beyond the cost of the ad. However, despite this apparent cost saving, this option may in fact turn out to be far more expensive. For one, to do it in-house, you would either have to hire a specialist to manage the ads, which could be quite costly. Alternatively, if you have one of your firm's existing staff members handle it, you have to consider the alternative cost, or rather what dollar value would that individual be contributing to the firm should they be focusing on their core job instead. Additionally, given the complexities of paid search, in order to really maximize your return on investment, create the most compelling ads and best structured campaigns, and drive low-cost clicks, you really have to be an expert with years of experience in the field. Given that most law firms' core competency is practicing law and not managing paid search campaigns, this option might not be as ideal for every firm. The second option, for firms that do feel that they have the required expertise to manage their paid search campaigns in-house, is to leverage special software or platforms that can assist in the ongoing management of the campaigns. However, even here, you must still consider the time you're required to devote towards these efforts. And lastly, the third option is to hire a third party that specializes in managing paid search campaigns and has a strong success record of driving strong results for its clients. While this solution will come at an additional cost, if chosen correctly, the third-party experts should be driving valuable new business to your firm with a return on investment that meets your goals. So to recap what we talked about today, we started off the presentation by reviewing what paid search is, talked a little bit about the mechanics of how it works and how Google determines the order or the rank of the paid ads that appear, and also explored what quality score is and why it's so important and what are the components that influence it. We then discussed a handful of value propositions for why paid search is important. Your customers expect to find you when they search. You have the ability to control your message. You're able to direct users to the most relevant page on your website. You get the opportunity to own and control more of the search result page real estate. And then by combining paid search with your SEO efforts, you can drive significant incremental traffic to your website. Next, we talked a little bit about the importance of considering expanding your reach and getting your ads in front of relevant users and potential customers, even when those are not proactively searching for your firm. We talked about some notable trends that we were seeing in mobile space and how it's critical that you employ a mobile strategy. I then shared a couple of best practices that are important to keep in mind when creating your paid search ads. And lastly, I shared some questions that you should be asking yourself when considering paid search. How can paid search benefit my firm? How will you measure success? And what resources are you able to allocate, and whether you should run paid search in-house or leverage the help of an expert third party.